Hello guys, welcome back to our Anime Explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Throne of Steel based on novel. So let's start. After a while, they reached a spacious quiet limestone road. The sides of the path were covered with flowers. Through the flowers' organization and arrangement, one could make out the words in universe language, absolute beginning region. The skinny old man's body glimmered slightly and he couldn't proceed further. He had to shout out, "Your Majesty, I'm no longer able to proceed any further. Follow this path and the region ahead is the absolute beginning region. There'll be managers there to lead you within." "Thank you, Mr. Wuxia." Luo Feng smiled and nodded. Following the beautiful and quiet limestone path, smelling the fragrance of the flowers and plants beside, his footsteps got quicker as he moved. After half a minute of walking and about 10 kilometers of distance, he reached an incredibly luxurious entrance to the absolute beginning region. There were many staff around. Seeing Luo Feng approach, one leader stepped forward to invite him over. "Your Majesty Luo Feng, we've been awaiting your arrival." A beautiful lady with a foxtail was very passionate. There was a fire mark on her forehead. "You can just call me Fox, I am the manager placed specially for the affairs of the absolute beginning region." "Understood." Luo Feng nodded. Actually, as this was the virtual universe, things like cleanliness or sweeping, maintenance of the plants and flowers, these could all be easily simulated immediately. However, maybe for the realism effect, these were all 100% simulated, even arranging for a large amount of staff to specially sweep and maintain the gardens, and even service the members. When one was hungry, he'd have to buy something to eat. When one was thirsty, he'd have to buy something to drink. One had to spend money even within his own house, even in the virtual universe. Everything that happened here was truly like it would happen in the real world. As it was too realistic, in the vast universe, many people who were rich and always protected by their ancestors from the beginning without facing any dangers in their lives, would spend most of their lives in the virtual universe or play virtual games, doing whatever they pleased. Many of them had already treated the virtual universe as their reality. However, this type of illusory lives, only few people could actually enjoy it. After all, doing anything in the virtual universe still required money. Even maintaining contacts had its usage fees. Without funds from their ancestors, one was unable to live such a life. "Your Majesty Luo Feng, please follow me." The Sector Lord Fox smiled and led the way. The two of them flew up into the sky. As one of the 5 regions, its area was huge. After all, even though it was 1/5 of the entire Yuxiong Mountain, it was still bigger than the entire surface area of Earth. And this whole area was given to only a little more than 1,000 people to live in. The absolute beginning region has a total of 1,138 members. Flying in mid-air, Lady Fox pointed below. Within this region there are many training spaces, libraries, restaurants, etc. As for the living quarters, they are all right at the back. The 1,138 villas, every one of them with a length of 98 kilometers and width of 81 kilometers. Luo Feng was shocked when he heard this. 98 kilometers long and 81 kilometers wide, such a huge villa was simply too extravagant. This was the treatment for the people of absolute beginning, and the lowest last phase region had to live in apartments. The highest level primal region had areas of diameters over 1,000 kilometers. "Your Majesty Luo Feng's villa is number 1136. Lady Fox pointed at a distant incredibly quiet villa. It obviously looked very ancient, and on its walls were many different kinds of plants. The two descended. "Your Majesty." The large door of the villa was 100-meter high. 2 6-meter-tall bull giants bowed respectfully. "Your Majesty Luo Feng." Lady Fox smiled. "As a member of the absolute beginning secret area, your guards form a large team. This team comprises of a general, 10 captains and 100 soldiers. Of which, the general is a sector lord of the last phase secret area, the 10 captains are domain lords and the 100 soldiers are universe level. In the virtual universe, they'll be stationed here by your Majesty. In reality, they will similarly protect your Majesty and listen to your command." Luo Feng nodded, feeling shocked within. Even though he had heard from Rong Jun earlier, however, actually seeing it was pretty shocking. 2 domain lords guarded the doors. One guard team, the leader of the group was a sector lord recognized by the origin laws. However, according to the news he acquired before, the guard team of the absolute beginning member paled in comparison to the primal members. Their guard team was led by an undying. Other than the guard team, there are 100 helpers and staff standing by within the villa to assist you. Lady Fox smiled and said. At this time a gust of wind blew over as a group of people suddenly appeared at the entrance. Leading the group was a bald old man who looked very similar to the people of Earth. This bald old man looked at Luo Feng and bowed, "Your Majesty." The large group of people behind too all bowed respectfully, shouting out simultaneously, "Greetings, Your Majesty." This is the leader of the guard team. His full name is Ao Duo Liku Wensheng Lai Suo. Lady Fox smiled and said, Your Majesty can simply call me Ao Duo. The bald old man said, Mr. Ao Duo, I'll be in your care from now on. Luo Feng was respectful. Of course. Ao Duo Liku said. Internally, he wasn't fully comfortable though. From the Virtual Universe Company's arrangement and status ranking, he was indeed lower than Luo Feng, but he was after all a sector lord recognized by the origin laws. His Majesty before him was a genius no doubt, but still not a strong warrior. He may even fall before he reached the sector lord level. Lady Fox said, Your Majesty Luo Feng, then I'll take my leave. Everything within here, Ao Duo knows well, he'll inform you if you need. Thank you Lady Fox. Luo Feng nodded. Lady Fox immediately became a beam of light and vanished into the distance. Your Majesty, please. Ao Duo Liku led the way and Luo Feng entered his own villa. Within the villa, with a glance, he was able to see that everything was filled with greenery and looked very natural. Over there is your Majesty's training grounds. Ao Duo pointed at the distant large construct that was sealed. The entire grounds is 50 kilometers long and 30 kilometers wide. The height is 300 m, and the interiors are all incredibly solid. Luo Feng nodded satisfied. His speed on the Dark Cloud shuttle was shocking. If the space was too small, he wouldn't be able to unleash it all. 50 kilometers long and 30 kilometers wide and 300 tall, that was not bad for a controller, he could get by. Of course such a huge space for a fighter would be too much. What if he wanted a bigger place? He'd have to get into the Primal Secret Area. Primal Secret Area members even had undying teachers stationed there specially for them. That's the swimming pond. Ao Duo pointed at a large pool at the other side. The pool is separated into the internal pool and external pool. The internal pool is infused with special qualities. Lying in it can help a tired body recover quickly, and it is further separated into 6 regions according to the temperature of the water. This actually simulates reality. In the actual absolute beginning secret area, Your Majesty's living quarters is even better than here. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed, shaking his head. Unfortunately, it will still take a while to get there. His trip in the universe this time was 3 years long. After 3 years he'd enter the primal universe, and only after exiting from there would he be able to enter the absolute beginning secret area. Ao Duo continued to introduce the facilities of the constructs. He pointed to the distant quiet 3-story building. Your Majesty, there's where you'll spend your regular life. Whatever you want in there, you can arrange for virtual helpers to make it happen according to your likes and hobbies. Within the villa, this construct's first level was for welcoming guests. The second level was for fun, and the third was a bedroom with a huge screen and other things within. He started changing the system to what he was accustomed to on Earth, a laptop-like computer along with some news and the entertainment broadcasts he changed to somewhat like a television. Even the book racks on the side he translated all to Mandarin. He also immediately altered a few chairs and bed structures. That's about right. Luo Feng smiled and sat in the chair. After which he opened his laptop and opened a treasure trove mail. Opening it, the screen immediately displayed 8 categories. The secret laws, secret weapons, unique treasures, technology weapons, materials, tools, living things and other special types. Every one of these categories had many little subdivisions, like under the living things floated plant life, metal lives, beasts etc., and under techniques were different types. Tens of millions of categories to open. Luo Feng opened the treasure category from the trove. The fist-sized little demon Barbata shouted out. Luo Feng gently tapped. Immediately a huge blur of countless words appeared along with pictures. 10k spirit purple blood juice, 120k points for 1 portion, primal area 70% of the price, absolute beginning 80%, heaven and land 90%, last phase full price. 7 color fruit, 100k for 1 portion, primal area 70% of the price, absolute beginning 80%, heaven and land 90%, last phase full price. Kali crystal 200k for 1 portion, primal area 70% of the price, absolute beginning 80%, heaven and land 90%, last phase full price. My god, it's too extravagant, it's simply bullying people. Even when your teacher wanted to buy them, they limited his portions. Every time he went for the auctions to buy them, they'd be astronomical prices. And they have everything here, requiring only points to exchange for. What bullshit is this points? Barbata shouted, open the techniques category, soul techniques. Luo Feng opened again. Looking at all these extremely well-reputed techniques in the universe, it was almost as though everything had simply appeared with just one look, and this was only the first page. Madness. Outside, the Undyings are all fighting extremely hard just for a small treasure. Yet, this virtual universe company actually uses some bullshit point system to exchange for them? Points, this is completely their internal system, not like cash outside. The demon Barbata was completely agitated. Open. Open it for me. Barbata stared and roared. Luo Feng obediently opened file after file. The numbers were extraordinary, anything one could imagine could be found there. The Virtual Universe Company's treasure trove list had completely shocked Barbata. He already knew the Virtual Universe Company was terrifyingly strong. The master of the Yunmo planet who was leading that solitude life as an undying, couldn't compare to even a strand of hair of this. However, looking at these, Barbata was still utterly shocked. Even though Luo Feng was shocked after seeing the treasure trove, it was still within his threshold. One of the reasons was because the inherited memories of the golden horned beast were filled with many techniques as well. Naturally, those were suited only for golden horned beasts. The second reason was that because of the names of many treasures, Luo Feng didn't even know what they represented. Barbata was different. He had followed the Yunmo planet master Hu Yangbo battling over countless galaxies and experiencing life and death situations countless times, having seen too many strong warriors killing each other. He was very clear in regards to the meanings of those names and what they represented. One of these techniques was enough to make even the Black Dragon Mountain Empire crumble. One of these treasures was enough to make up to 10,000 Undyings crazy. Barbata was able to see the meanings behind those names, hence he was completely stunned and agitated at the same time. Madness, this is too crazy. The little demon looked at the screen on the laptop. His eyes gleaming with even tears, saying softly, "Big boss, if you were willing to lower your head and follow that man back then, even though you would have been only in the outer layers of the Virtual Universe Company, when you became an Undying, you'd naturally enter the core of the Virtual Universe Company. How could you have ended up like that then?" Luo Feng turned to look at the little demon on his shoulder. "No problem." The little demon shook his head. "I'm only exclaiming about your teacher. There's a saying on Earth that goes like this: a stupid bird flies first. However, if a smart bird took that first leap and continued to fly, no matter how hard a stupid bird tries, it would never catch up. One theory is that if one starts ahead and continues to lead, naturally he would stand at the pinnacle. Your starting line far exceeds your teacher already." The little demon exclaimed. "I'm only a star level. Teacher was even able to create techniques like soul imprint. I'm still far behind." Luo Feng said. "Right, this kind of mentality is right. Don't ever get cocky. No matter how impressive the genius battle was, it was only at the star level. This path to be strong has just begun." The little demon shook his head. "What you must do now is to grab these valuable resources, strengthen yourself, and even more so. Let yourself ditch the others far behind." Luo Feng nodded. Suddenly, the screen's mail slightly shook, displaying a newly received mail. Opening the mail. A mail was received. "Luo Feng, congratulations on becoming an absolute beginning member. The Virtual Universe Company's training plan for the young generation begins from the universe level. Hence, the first thing you need to do is become universe level. You don't have to worry about this though. By the time you complete your training in the primal universe, I believe you definitely have already broken through. You've been awarded 10,000 points. You can use these points to purchase any item within the treasure trove. As long as you have enough points, you can buy anything. I suggest that you purchase the techniques you require. This 3-year journey, utilizing this time frame to train would be the best choice. Also, I advise you to not waste any time on training your body and spirit energy. From the star level 1 to 9, these levels are based more on quantity. However, from the star level to the universe level, that's an evolution of life itself. From the universe level 1 to 9, domain lord 1 to 9, sector lord 1 to 9, these are all simply quantity and time based. Star Traveler, Star Level, Universe Level, Domain Lord Level, Sector Lord, Level Breakthroughs, these are all evolutions of life. They belong to one's essence actually breaking through. The company will spend money on every one of you, giving each core member an invaluable way to strengthen their bodies and to raise their genetic and spirit energy. This will help one to grow from level 1 to 9 in a short time, allowing one's body to reach saturation quickly. As for the life evolution itself and breakthrough, that requires each member to work hard to break through themselves. The company will not let the core members waste time on building just strength itself. For all core members, their time should be used to strengthen their battle ability, to comprehend the origin laws and to learn techniques. Virtual Universe Company. This mail wasn't considered long, but Luo Feng and Barbata were both stunned for quite a while after. What? From level 1 to 9, the company will provide the body strengthening? Luo Feng was in disbelief. The sayings were all true? Barbata was stunned too. A strong warrior had to seriously train to absorb energy. This was common knowledge in the universe. However, there were countless treasures in the universe, like the life fruit that was able to make a cloud contact vine break through to universe level 2 immediately. Humans couldn't withstand such powerful treasures, however to the greatest leviathan of the human universe, the Virtual Universe Company, they were able to supply such items to the core members to strengthen themselves. The moment you broke through to the Universe Level 1, the company will help you strengthen you to Level 9. The moment you break through to Sector Lord Level 1, the company will help you to reach Level 9. One didn't have to waste time quietly sitting and absorbing universe energy, there was no need to. Wealthy indeed, wealthy. Barbata shook his head. Your teacher's nest, the Yunmo planet, is only reserved for the most important disciples. Even then he wouldn't use it like that. Sector Lords level 1 to 9, how much energy does that even require? How many treasures? Your teacher's entire fortune wouldn't even be enough. No wonder the Virtual Universe Company has such strict regulations on its number of core members. Your Majesty! Your Majesty! A voice resounded from outside. Ao Duo. Luo Feng walked onto the balcony, looking at the entrance of the 3-story building. Something the matter? There are Majesties Rong Jun and Wuke outside here to visit. Ao Duo Liku said respectfully. Rong Jun, Wuke? Luo Feng's eyes gleamed. I'm coming. After a while, Luo Feng invited Rong Jun and Wuke back into his living room. Rong Jun and I were just at the library. Upon hearing that you've come, we rushed over to take a look. The Manka Prince Wuke sat on the sofa, laughing loudly. This virtual universe is really not bad. The treatment of this absolute beginning members is even better than the treatment on Manka Planet. Luo Feng and Rong Jun exchanged glances. Vicious. Luo Feng said, I got stunned just from looking at the mail. Shock from just the mail? What's there to be shocked about? You are talking about the pool of life? Wuke said nonchalantly, on Manka Planet, the younger generation are all treated this way. As long as they reach Universe Level 1, they'll immediately go bathe in the pool of life and raise to Universe Level 9. This amount of training so much is simply a waste of time. In the universe, it's not just our Manka Planet, there's also the Huangshan clan, the Dream Shell clan, the Musu Planet, even the 1008 universe countries' secret areas, the top 10 to 100 geniuses would get such treatment. Luo Feng and Rong Jun were both speechless. He was the Prince of Manka, his sights and vision was different. Luo Feng and Rong Jun were already considered not bad in terms of sights, however even an Undying didn't have such resources to nurture his disciple this way. Only the Ganwu secret area of the Manka Planet, this level of superpower, their core could get such treatment. And only the top 10 to 100 had such treatment. Yet, in the Virtual Universe Company, they nurtured up to tens of millions this way. They were wealthy indeed. These are all the external things. Wuke shook his head. The Virtual Universe Company can give only so many benefits such as the best environment. As for whether one is actually able to make any achievement, that will still rely on himself. The universe is extremely mysterious, with tens of millions of miracles and sights. However, every 10 million years, how many absolute warriors can actually stand out? Wuke exclaimed, don't bother looking, even though there are up to 10 million people on Yuxiong Mountain, with countless sector lords, all with shockingly good conditions. However, after 10 million years, 99.9% of them would have fallen, while the remaining became Undyings. Yet even then most of them are just normal Undyings. If you want to become an absolute warrior even amongst the Undying, Wuke shook his head, out of a batch in 10 million years, trillion years, with so many geniuses being nurtured, and so many falling along the way. As long as they can produce a few absolute beings, that would be considered a success. Our batch of 1,000, according to the records of history, in 10 million years, there won't even be 10 of us left. Wuke said. The three chatted for a long time, feeling the pressure. Normal people would be satisfied after reaching the universe level. For some geniuses, the moment they reached Sector Lord and owned one galaxy, that was enough. However, with different foresight, their aims would naturally be different. Luo Feng, Rong Jun, and Wuke, they all had extremely far-reaching visions. Luo Feng had the Golden Horned Beast and Mosha clan, the two great races of the galaxy. He could reach the Sector Lord even in his sleep. Even if he became an Undying, he wanted to become a pinnacle warrior amongst the Undying. He even wanted to reach the level of the country leader of the Ganwu Universe country, opening a new universe country and dominating for 1 trillion years. Rong Jun, his talents were no lesser than Luo Feng's. His enemy was even more terrifying, becoming a normal Undying couldn't satisfy him at all. Wuke, a rare absolute genius from the Manka Planet, his father was one of the universe's ultimate warriors. With his father as his target, he similarly had his sights set very high. However, facts were facts. According to history's probability, out of these 1,000, less than 10 would become Undyings. Even the Golden Horned Beast, with so many generations being stuck in the Sector Lord level, they were unable to break through. The path to Undying was indeed tough. Luo Feng's path had only just begun. Luo Feng sat before the laptop and chose the technique trove. The golden horned beast's inherited memories have countless techniques. I don't need to buy anything. The Mosha clan doesn't have any inherited memories, however, with its high talents. Its battle abilities are all based on its natural talents. It doesn't have any effective battle techniques. Luo Feng opened a large amount of fighter close combat weapons, weapon choice. Level 5 genetic energy weapon Gold Shadow Blade. It requires 12 points. You can customize your own design, according to the Shadow Blood Blade design. Shield, I'll choose a level 5 Absolute Void Shield. It only requires 8 points. I'll set the design to the 6-edged shield design. Gold Shadow Blade, Absolute Void Shield, these were all for the Mosha clan to use. Battle techniques. Luo Feng opened the techniques and swiftly found the most suitable one. With Barbata's help, he was able to make a quick decision. Absolute space fits the golden horned beast, 9 threads fits a controller's flight. What about a fighter? The techniques are that expensive? Luo Feng was shocked. The Gold Shadow Blade was only 12 points. However, the techniques before him, the cheaper ones were tens of points, many of them were worth hundreds of points and even thousands, the highest reaching even a million, tens of millions. It was exorbitant. The techniques are all something the absolute warriors treasure and never spread. It's their life's work and blood. Your teacher's soul imprint, even though it is special and powerful, but according to my estimate, it's only worth about 10,000 points. Barbata said. The points given out by the Virtual Universe Company were very precious. As a new member of the Absolute Beginning Secret Area, he was given 10,000 points. Of course he had to treasure them. Even though there were many techniques on the list that were enough to make Undyings go crazy, however their prices were exorbitant too, as some of items were millions of points, or even tens of millions. Luo Feng could only drool as he looked. Not good, I'll choose this. Luo Feng, as they say, one's feet should be firmly planted on the ground, save your points. That's really expensive. I bought it. Luo Feng was discussing and debating with Barbata while calculating his 10,000 points. He ended up spending close to half an hour before he finished his final exchanges. Golden Horned Beast, he used 0 points. The Mosha clan, he spent 9,820 points on it, buying a complete set of techniques and weapons for it. One was the close combat technique worth at 3,200 points, and the more basic shield techniques worth 800 points, and buying a not bad blade technique worth 5,800 points. The Gold Shadow Blade was worth 12 points and the Absolute Void Shield was 8 points. Movement, shield work, blade work, these formed a complete set and were extremely powerful in both movement and technique. Luo Feng himself, he used 180 points, buying the Golden Shadow Blade and Absolute Shield cost 20 points, buying 2 life fruits cost 100 points, and he also bought 30 swelling water fruit at 60 points. 10,000 points, he used it all. The universe ship traveled through the dark universe at 20 times light speed, continuously progressing. Within the ship, Luo Feng grabbed onto a wine bottle and glass, walking straight into the resting room beside the bedroom, opening the screen and looking at the news program. On it displayed the genius battle that had ended not too long ago. My points were used up so quickly. Luo Feng poured himself a cup of fruit wine before lying on the comfortable sofa, especially the techniques. I spent almost all of my points on just one complete set. Hopefully they don't disappoint me, otherwise I definitely feel the pinch. Luo Feng, these illusionary body, illusionary shield and illusionary 7 blades form one complete illusionary technique set. They definitely won't let you down. Barbata said, even though they are more basic techniques, after all you are only a star level punk. At least before you become Undying, these will be enough. Luo Feng nodded. He understood too that some techniques weren't too deep and difficult, however Undyings would still fight hard to study them. If he got something heavenly but couldn't grasp even the basic understanding, what was the point? Buying something like this that was cheaper but being able to help him grasp the strong basics, that was more effective. Even the soul imprint his teacher created, with so many types of soul techniques, Barbata estimated it would only be worth about 10,000 points. This complete illusionary set, which had 3 techniques in total and worth a total of over 9,000 points, it was comparable to the soul imprint. Barbata, which battle techniques do you think the Golden Horned Beast should train? Luo Feng asked. We are allowing the Golden Horned Beast to begin training battle techniques? Barbata asked, how about we first work on the foundation? Golden Horned Beast, right now it only knew deities of the world and absolute space. Absolute space was related to movement. Deities of the world was purely about shrinking and condensing its body. It didn't have any battle techniques. Right now it battled relying totally on its natural ability, which was its strength, or its body's inner quality. It didn't have any system or battle technique. According to Barbata's point of view, it was better to get a solid foundation first, then learning the battle techniques would be easy. And within the Golden Horned Beast's inherited memories, there were battle techniques. It could begin training at any time. Different types of battle techniques. From the claws to the scaled wings, the tail, and strengthening its body while becoming a slaughter machine. The many generations of golden horned beasts had created many techniques and knew how to unleash the greatest strength when in battle, as many of these techniques were extremely brutal. Basics? Luo Feng pondered. That's good too. There'll be a long period of time in the future where I won't be using the golden horned beast to attack anyway. Following which Luo Feng lifted his head and finished the wine. Eventually standing up, his eyes gleamed with battle spirit. Time to begin. Time was fleeting as months passed on. The Jade Essence F-grade universe ship continued to progress towards the center of the human universe where the Virtual Universe Company's headquarters was located. Luo Feng naturally spent his time within the ship. His consciousness in the virtual universe was almost like a sponge absorbing every bit of information. While within his internal world, the Golden Continent's length and width had already reached 9,000 kilometers. Obviously, during the time Luo Feng spent in the Genius battle, the Golden Horned Beast had already evolved till Universe Level 9. From Universe Level 9 to Domain Lord Level 1, normally it would require 500 years. Even with the highest efficiency of metal groupings, it could only be raised 56 times, requiring about 9 years in total. Feeling the internal world constantly expanding and condensing with the ripples of the Golden Origin laws, the Golden Horned Beast seriously listened, looked around and experienced, working hard at its domain and Gold Origin laws. The Mosha clan was in the form of a little Golden Horned Beast while training in absolute space and raising the comprehension of the Space Origin laws. It was either that or staying in human form, using a blade, shield, and training the illusionary techniques. Virtual Universe, Absolute Beginning Region, within the training space of Villa number 1136. The completely sealed training space was empty. Barefooted and in shorts, Luo Feng held the 6-edged shield Absolute Void Shield and carried a Blood Shadow Blade Life Golden Shadow Blade. Simulate battle. Luo Feng shouted, opponent, Rong Jun, simulate him with his highest battle ability during the Genius Pinnacle battle. The huge training space that was 50 kilometers wide and 30 kilometers long. It formed the silhouette of a person within, who eventually turned into the over 3-meter-tall savage Rong Jun. Rong Jun was carrying a huge battle blade on his back, his entire body dressed in a simple animal skin, barefooted. His eyes, however, were lifeless, as he was just standing there and not moving at all. Begin. Luo Feng shouted. Rumble. The simulated Rong Jun's eyes lit up and he became like a mountain rushing straight at Luo Feng. Bring it. Luo Feng brandished his blade in one hand, and the other hand with a shield, becoming 18 Luo Fengs, almost like 18 demon golden lights rushing forward. The two clashed. Luo Feng began using his blade work and in an instant he had slashed almost 10,000 times. It was simply too fast. Not only were his movements shockingly fast, even his blade work was terrifying, totally like a demon floating about. His blade work seemed like it wasn't strong, however the instantaneous explosion of power was terrifying. Slash! The savage Rong Jun's hair flew in the wind. His gaze was like lightning, and roaring like thunder, he swung his huge blade down. Slash! Slash! Each roar was extremely powerful. In terms of offensive strength from the Genius battle, the strongest was Bolan. In terms of mysteriousness was probably the hypnotist Jiao Laishi's hypnotism. In terms of being unblockable it was Luo Feng's sky-piercing formation, and in terms of brutality it was Savage's blade work. They fought head-on for a few minutes. Fresh blood spewed everywhere, Luo Feng's entire body was knocked away, dropping like a torn sandbag. Rumble, the training space warped, the simulated Rong Jun from before vanished and Luo Feng's wounds were healed. This was a specially customized training space with the effects of the slaughterhouse. It was able to completely simulate any opponent, however its space was limited. There's improvement. Luo Feng smiled and stood up. My close combat probably has the ability to make it into the top 100 of the Genius battle. Close combat. Right, Luo Feng's greatest weakness was close combat. During the Pinnacle competition, he had 2 losses. One against Rong Jun and the other against Long Yun. This happened because he had to fight them in close combat and hence, he lost. As a controller, Luo Feng had the ability to easily kill his opponent when he distances himself. However, the moment he got close, that was it. As one's attention itself had limits, Luo Feng didn't have time to dilute his training, however now was different. The Mosha clan itself was a master at close combat, naturally it had to train the illusionary techniques. 3 great bodies with the same soul and consciousness. If any one of them learned something, the other 2 would naturally learn it too. In terms of comprehension of the origin laws, I'm stronger than Rong Jun. However, my close combat still loses to him. Luo Feng shook his head. There's indeed a difference between the human body and the Mosha clan body. When the Mosha clan body unleashed the illusionary techniques, that was the true illusion. With the Mosha clan body, even if he compared to Death God Bolan, the difference wasn't that huge. His human body, however, was way different. Continue to persevere. I will not only be able to attack from far but also in close combat. This way, there truly would not be any weakness. Luo Feng continued to work hard. Finally, after traveling for about 2 years and 3 months in the universe, Luo Feng finally killed Rong Jun in close combat. I defeated Rong Jun of the Genius Battle. The current Rong Jun must be similar to me, using the resources given by the Virtual Universe Company and strengthening himself. He would have definitely gotten stronger. Luo Feng didn't dare relax at all. Indeed. 3 years' journey, none of the 1,000 absorbed geniuses dared to relax. This genius battle had too great an effect on them. In the past, it was hard for them to even meet a match, however the many life or death battles in the competition had affected them greatly. Many of them had been training ever since then and had improved a lot since the battles. That and the fact that they could pick any techniques they wanted. To Rong Jun, Wuka and Ao Pa Tila etc., the ones from the absolute beginning region, the 10,000 points was enough for them to buy almost anything they desired. At their level, they didn't need anything too expensive. Within these 3 years of training, they all improved a lot. Within the whole of the universe ship, dressed in a completely fitting armor and boots, the black short-haired youth stood there. Beside him was a skinny old man with silver hair saying respectfully, "Your Majesty, we are about to arrive at the Virtual Universe Company headquarters." Luo Feng nodded. 3 years. This was considered his fastest improvement in 3 years. However, the deeper he went, he could feel that the universe itself was unfathomable. The entire mysteries and profoundness of the universe, and that the techniques he used could only be considered under Undying's or normal Undying level, however he still felt they were profound. This path was indeed a tough one. I've improved so much, I wonder how the others are doing. Luo Feng thought, I have the Golden Horned Beast and the Mosha clan, this level of miraculous combination. However, the universe is vast, just about anything can happen. Who knows, there may even be someone within the top 1,000 geniuses with an even greater miracle within them. Never looking down on others or being arrogant. The universe was incomparably vast and mysterious, with trillions of races. Humans were but one of them. One had to always maintain a level of respect to the universe. Beginning universe travel, entering the actual universe, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Luo Feng felt the entire ship slightly shake. After about 10 seconds everything returned to normal, he shouted, "External simulation 100%. Immediately the entire large hall became transparent. He could see the simulated space. In the distance, there was an incomparably vast continent floating in space. Luo Feng was stunned. The headquarters of the Virtual Universe Company, they had finally arrived here. That's a continent? Luo Feng stood within the universe ship, looking at the distant floating endless continent, staring wide-eyed. Planets, stars, nebulas etc., all the heavenly bodies, wandering the universe for a long time. One would have seen them all, even occasionally spotting remains of universe ships, even living space beasts. Luo Feng wouldn't even be shocked by these. However, to see such a huge continent in space itself, it was simply too shocking. This wasn't the virtual universe, it was reality. So huge? Luo Feng was speechless. This huge continent floating in space had stars and planets beside it, however they were nothing but little dots beside it. Even the universe ship, which was constantly getting closer, after a while, it still seemed as though the continent was as far away as before. It's bigger than any planets I've seen before, by at least 10 million times. It's too huge. Luo Feng held his breath. Your Majesty, how's the headquarters? Beside, the skinny old man smiled. Luo Feng asked curiously, just how big is it? How big? The skinny old man shook his head. If we don't go through universe transfer through the dark universe, just relying on the universe ship to fly from side to side, will take at least 10 years. You mean? Luo Feng was shocked. Its diameter alone is about 1 light years? 1 light year was a little more than 90 quintillion kilometer. The Earth's diameter was but 10,000 kilometers. It was no wonder the distant stars and planets seemed nothing more than little dots. This continent floating in the universe was simply outrageous. The silver-haired skinny old man nodded his head. Such a big continent, where did it come from? Luo Feng couldn't help but ask, was there such a large naturally formed continent in the universe? Even though the universe was mysterious, with many mysterious places, however naturally forming a 10 light-years diameter continent was simply unbelievable. Not sure. The skinny old man shook his head. Luo Feng didn't ask more. Even though he could see the distant floating continent was incomparably vast, however with the F-grade universe ship traveling close to light speed and about 13 hours later, he finally reached the entrance of the Virtual Universe Company headquarters. During the flight, Luo Feng could only gaze in awe as he appreciated the beauty and perfection of the construction of this continent. Even though it seemed like it was a wonder naturally formed by the universe, as his ship drew closer, Luo Feng could feel this natural continent was infused with high amounts of technology. Your Majesty, those stars, planets and nebulas surrounding this continent are actually very terrifying technological weapons. Within the ship's luxurious hall, the skinny old man introduced. Luo Feng nodded. With the company's measures, those planets and stars are indeed easily controllable like toys to them. Even undyings could play with the stars. With the virtual company's unbelievable technology, changing the stars and planets to where even a sector lord knows they are weapons, these two were probably just for show. The virtual universe headquarters' true defenses probably weren't that simple. The universe ship entered the continent through an opening and flew at light speed for a few minutes before finally slowing down and stopping. Luo Feng and the sector lord Shawu and others flew out of the cabin door. Outside there were 10 men and women dressed in uniform waiting. When Luo Feng arrived, these 10, with a silver-armored man with a green horn leading, said in unison, "Your Majesty Luo Feng, Night Feng is awaiting your arrival, please follow me." Luo Feng nodded. "Thanks, Shawu." Luo Feng turned back and looked at the skinny old man. Sector Lord Shawu revealed a smile. "It was my honor to accompany your Majesty for 3 years." After which, the two separated. Luo Feng followed the silver-armored green-horned man and others through a dreamy-like pathway. The later half of the pathway was translucent. With one look, one could see the beautiful space outside, along with the surrounding mountain scenery. "Your Majesty Luo Feng, Your Majesty Luo Feng." Along the pathway there were 3 people waiting. Luo Feng looked curiously at the 3 approaching people. "Your Majesty, these are the items you ordered. According to Your Majesty's request, the exchange will be done here in the headquarters." The 3 immediately submitted the items. As Luo Feng's 3-year journey was in the Dark Universe, also plus the fact that his training was mostly in the virtual universe, hence the Golden Shadow Blade, the Absolute Void Shield and the live fruits he purchased didn't require an immediate exchange. Since the Cloud Contact Vine already had enough food prepared, he decided to exchange for these at the headquarters itself. Of course, something like the illusionary techniques, he learnt it in the virtual universe. Thanks. Luo Feng opened to take a look and immediately kept it within his storage ring. At that time, he was taken into an oval-shaped large hall. The entire surroundings of the hall was completely transparent. Looking up, one could see the endless space, viewing the distant beautiful scenery. Also one could also see universe ships and shooting star-like undyings flying past. Luo Feng. "Madman, you've come." "Ha, madman." Luo Feng's entrance immediately attracted welcomes from many. Long Yun, Wuka, Jiangmo. Luo Feng laughed and immediately waved at each of them. Training hard in Yuxiong Mountain for 3 years, this same batch of youths had interacted quite a bit over the 3 years, except for a small number that preferred solitude. Many of them had become good friends. At least they were able to chat and laugh. There may have been some that preferred solitude, but this was also because they were too lonely, having never met anyone of their level. And to be able to enter the Genius Battle's entire universe top 1000, at least they'd recognize each other's strengths. Becoming good friends was normal. "Rome Jun hasn't arrived?" Luo Feng surveyed his surroundings. "He'll be here soon, he's almost within the headquarters." The Manka Prince Wuka laughed casually. "Come, sit here." Similarly in the absolute beginning region, the 8 of them were closer than with others. Just from the sitting arrangement within the hall, one could easily see, cliques and circles had been formed within these 1000. "Bolan." Luo Feng looked at the side where a white-clothed youth sat beside the window. Luo Feng smiled and shouted out. The white-clothed youth turned and glanced over, just making a sound and immediately turning once again to peer outside. These 3 years on Yuxiong Mountain, Death God Bolan had been in solitude, only seldom communicating with a few people, but actually speaking very little. However, for the contact they had, Luo Feng and the others realized that even though Bolan was very cold and enjoyed being alone, his character was still not bad. The absolute beginning few seemed to be pretty proud, actually sticking and talking to Bolan, thinking they are much stronger than us. Right, back then we made it into the top 100. The virtual universe company immediately picked the top 20 from us to fight for the final 10, not even giving us a chance. And it's been 3 years. These 3 years, those of us in the heaven and land region have all made improvements, some even shocking. I believe there are a few of us even stronger than those in the absolute beginning region. Just wait, there'll be time to compete. At the other side, about 10 youths relied on genetic energy to communicate, chatting amongst themselves. They remained unconvinced. Since the time the virtual universe system back then had directly picked the people to eliminate, many had remained unhappy with the decisions. What's more, over these 3 years, many had improved by quite a bit, especially since some didn't have good techniques back then. Over these 3 years they had time to exchange for fitting techniques. Their improvements were huge. They were all confident now. After about 6 more hours, all 1000 had gathered. "Attention all, please follow me." Once the 1000 had gathered, a man with red eyes dressed in a simple but elegant white robe spoke hoarsely. That aura he emitted made the 1000 youths feel a sense of fear within, almost as though a normal person was facing a venomous snake. The tall red-eyed man left the hall and immediately released a powerful invincible aura that completely subdued the 1000 youths. Immediately becoming a light ray and flying for a few minutes, they stopped before a peculiar ship, before releasing the 1000 youths. Only then did Luo Feng let out a sigh of relief, that inability to resist, that aura that made their hearts tremble. The surrounding geniuses all felt the same. Attention all, please enter the ship. The tall and skinny red-eyed man spoke coldly. Luo Feng looked up and saw the peculiar ship before them. This is a ship? Luo Feng was shocked. This ship before them was simply too strange and special, mainly because its entire shape was simply like a fish. A translucent dull blue huge fish, its tail was even waving about, its entire length was about 1,000 meter. However, the stomach portion of this huge fish actually had a cabin door, through it one could see the internal pathways. The 1,000 geniuses, very few of them actually knew about these kinds of ships, the others seemed confused and stunned. Under the coaxing of the tall and skinny red-eyed man, they all entered through the door. The interiors are similar to other ships, how come its exterior is just like a fish? Luo Feng and the group walked within the ship's pathways. F-grade universe ships were made from pure natural metals, even the ships that went to receive us were all F-grades, and right now this ship that's taking us to the primal universe, this is definitely at least an F-grade I think. Pure metals were supposedly strong and durable. This one was exactly like a fish, it was unbelievable. Stupid. You don't even know about this, this is a universe ship that's been fused with other life forms. Barbata's voice resounded, and it's a very high level of life form, at least an undying level, like the metal life forms, plant life forms, there are some special races that can actually fuse and become one with ships. This universe ship is much better than your teacher's Unmo planet ship. If what I'm guessing isn't wrong, it can be considered even as surpassing the F-grade, AG-grade universe ship. To be able to have such a ship in a vast universe, that would be one who stands at the pinnacle of existences. Fusing an undying life form with a ship? Luo Feng didn't even have time to react before he followed the others into the ship's large hall. Within the hall, a formless pressure caused the 1,000 geniuses to not dare to make a sound. Even the 10 undyings within the ship, including that tall and skinny red-eyed man, slightly bowed. Luo Feng glanced over and spotted the green-armored purple-scaled man standing right in front, even though he still felt as though he wasn't truly present, giving a sense like he was virtual projection, not a real person. The purple-scaled man looked at the youths and said, "Let's depart, towards the primal universe." Rumble. The fish-like universe ship waved its tail and immediately vanished from its position. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.